Hello, good morning. Just the person I wanted to see too, because I wanted to thank you for following me in the past week while I was offline. Oh, thanks. I hope everyone's doing okay today. Having a good weekend. Having a good morning, afternoon, evening. It's morning for me, but time zones. Hi, Jeremy. Good morning. How are you doing? I guess I should probably actually like connect my tablet to my computer. Doing good. Adding some so the adventure tonight. Yeah! I'm very excited. New adventure. What will we get up to? Who knows? I mean, I feel like probably just traveling for the most part. Maybe some info gathering when we get there. Let me brightness a little bit. Okay. Pretty straightforward adventure. Wanted to add some stuff for y'all to poke on the side for optional goodies. Yeah! Optional goodies are always good. Oh, I'm sorry, button. There you go. My table was in her way. Pardon me. Okay, let me... What? Ba-ba-da-ba. I love this picture so much. It's not what we're working on today. I just really like it. I woke up with like a little bit of a migraine. Oh, don't continue coloring. Procreate, please. Okay, Procreate's having a moment, sorry. I woke up with a little bit of a migraine, so I took an Excedrin, and I feel like that was maybe too much. For the level of migraines. Now I'm kind of like jittery. So I feel kind of weird today. So we're gonna just do what we can. We gamed too hard last night, Jeremy. The ghosts couldn't handle us, and then they took our revenge. Oh! Speaking of, I was thinking about it this morning, and for that last Banshee in Sunny Meadows, I realized, like, yeah, of course it was a Banshee, because not only was it following us around, but during that very first hunt, where we all just kind of panic hid in rooms, yeah, help murder, it was very good. That and the beans one always makes me jump just because it's so loud. And I don't have my my soundboard up really high, but it's something about that clip is like bass boosted. But when we all kind of panic hid in rooms and she didn't get any of us, I was kind of like, I'm surprised that this worked. And I realized this morning, I was like, oh, it worked because she didn't find whoever was her target, her favorite person, right? She ignored all of us. She just walked past all of us, not because we were well hidden, but because we weren't whoever she was after. And whoever she was after just was actually hidden. And I was like, oh, that should have been an indicator. I mean, we figured it out either way, but I was like, I should have known right from the start. That's okay. It was fun. I had fun last night. Good old Phasma. Except for when it's being stubborn and doesn't give us evidence. I'm gonna make an orb to warm up. There. I don't know. The game can be really difficult how that... Yeah, they're so like finicky with their behavior. There was A time before last night that we played, Phil, Layla, and we had a demon that, like, when we checked off the evidence that we had, that, like, it gave us, because I think we were playing Nightmares, so it only gave us 2 or something. And I was like, wow, this thing's hunting really aggressively, but in our book, demon was, like, grayed out as if it couldn't be an option. So I was like, this thing's really aggressive like a demon, but, like, with the evidence that we have, and I think we had, like, freezing and I know demons are freezing, writing, and then something else, but we had whatever the something else was. We didn't have writing. And so with our 2 out of 3, we're like, well, with what it is, like, behavior-wise, it's acting like a demon, but it couldn't, or the book was grayed out. And then so we're like, well, I guess out of the choices that we have, it has to be this, even though its behavior isn't really matching up with that ghost, but sometimes they could be kind of weird. And then we got out of it, back into the lobby, and it was like, oh, it was a demon. We're like, how? So sometimes Phasma is just buggy. I'm okay with it. It was what, like a $15 game that was made by 1 person and is now made by like 5. They're doing their best. It's still fun. If it was like a $60 game and it was inconsistent like that, I would be a little cheesed, but yeah. And the developers are always super, super nice and, like, very happy to have feedback and stuff so that they can improve it, which, you know, to me, that goes a long way. But, like, I understand that, you know, coding and stuff like that takes time, and the way that programming works, you can fix one thing and then you're going to break 3 other things elsewhere in your product, so I get it. And again, it's still fun, so I'm very excited for Point Hope. That should be fun and scary. What colors have we done? Green, pink, blue, yellow. 3 yellows, 3 purples, a couple reds, a blue, orange. I've kind of done, like... You know what? I've only done, like, 1 green. We can do another green. Green's a nice color. Maybe do, like, a little bit on the teal-ish side. That's still fun. Have you seen anything about Skull and Bones, $70 game with worst pirate? Ah, yeah, I remember seeing that, because remember when we watched it, like, the Game Awards or something for it, we were like, is this not just, that other Sea of Thieves, I think, game? Worst pirate gameplay than Black Flag. That's pretty bad, though, because, I mean, like, Black Flag wasn't, you know, stellar, but at the time, like, it was super fun, and it was, the mechanics of it were very straightforward. So, to not be able to improve on that in 10 years is baffling. You don't even board enemy ships, you just play a 4-second cutscene. That sucks! That's the whole fun of, like, going over and fighting either other players or NPCs and stuff. That's literally half the battle. I could see maybe that being, like, a system for, like, smaller ships, right? Like, if you're going up against something that's only manned by, like, 5 people, maybe it just kind of skips out. I mean, either way, I don't think it should, but I could acquiesce to some middle ground if it was kind of like that, but for it to just be completely, that's very silly. Let's shade with blue. Let's make this interesting, right? That's the idea. Yeah, we're gonna shade on this. Almost feels like it should have been a pirate fleet sim, sort of like Civ. Yeah, because to cut out that level of, like, control and interaction from the players is not great, I would say. It's a choice. It is a choice that I would love to hear how they came to that decision. Because, wow, he's out. This is like a nice little ocean orb, and now we're talking about pirates. I really should not have taken Excedrin. I feel very trembly. And I did eat. I have some chamomile tea, but need to check some water. Yeah, I mean, I have some. I was kind of just sipping my tea, but it's just gonna have to work its way out, I think. Just too much caffeine. It's because I woke up and I was literally trapped in bed for like 2 hours. I woke up super early and then I was like, oh, I'm not moving because it hurt so bad. So I was like, when I finally got up to get the trash and stuff, I was like, well, I'll take an Excedrin because I'm in this level of pain. I'll probably need it. And then it kicked in and I was like, I feel great. And now I'm like, oh god, I made a mistake. I really should have taken just 2 Tylenol, but then I was like, if the 2 Tylenol didn't work, now it'll work its way out. It's fine. Hi, Weiwa. Good morning. Yeah, I woke up with a bad migraine today. Oh man. I think I grind my teeth while I sleep because some days I just wake up. Yeah, no, I definitely have a jaw clenching habit that ironically I think Spencer was talking about with somebody on his stream yesterday. So I technically don't like actively grind my teeth, but by clenching I am creating extra tension in my head that I already have. I'm just like, it is what it is. The thing is, this is what we're talking about, is that my migraine is gone, but I took an Excedrin to get rid of it, and so now I'm like, I sometimes have like a slight tremble in my hands, and now it's kind of like worse. So it's okay, because I'm not doing anything intense today, so. I was jaw clenching my sleep while I was working it. That's what, yeah. Just the stress kind of makes your whole body like clench up. Also, Jimmy, you had something. Was made by Ubisoft and $70 on GB Chill. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like, I try to be pretty forgiving with like game companies and software companies in general, because I do understand that, like, you know, things are not as simple as just make the game and it'll be great and you get full decisions on everything you want and it's perfect, because I know that it doesn't work that way. But it is harder to be forgiving with like companies that have, you know, like 4 studios and all these resources and stuff, because again, it's not really on the developers. Like, I understand it's usually decisions that come above them in the pipeline, but it's like, you know, if I'm gonna pay like $60 to $70 on something, I do expect quality. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I do expect some level of, you know, value for that amount of money. I don't mind parting with that money, but don't give me something that's kind of non-functioning. It's a case-by-case conversation, I suppose. Ugh. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of purple in this blue too. Gives you $70. Yeah, I mean, also that the standard was like kind of 40 to 50, and then like a $60 game was like very expensive, but hey, it's a fancy game. But now it's like all games are just kind of 60 to 70. It's like, oh god. I mean, I get it because, you know, inflation, but also $70. That's a lot of money. Who pushed so much microtransaction lives on top of being $70 and over? Yeah, exactly. It's like, if I think that's why, like, it always feels better to support like smaller or indie studios, because it's like, well, you know, like Phasmo. It's like, Phasmo's not a perfect game. You know, there's a lot wrong with it, and they know that there's a lot and they're constantly working on it. But I'm more forgiving of it because it is literally a team of what? It's like CJ, DK, the original creator, Lavender, and I think like 2 or 3 more people. It's literally a team of like 5 to 7 people that are making this game. And it started as just one guy. And same thing with Lethal Companies. I think it is still just the one guy who makes it. So it's like, if there's things that go wrong with it, I'm like, this is literally the equivalent of like me and my friends group, like, making stuff, right? Like, and on top of it, it was even kind of like Palia. Palia is a bigger discussion, but when like their outfit store is like, oh my god, it's like $40 for a set of like 3 outfits, and like, yeah, it comes in different colors, but that's a lot of money for a cosmetic. But I'm like, but the game itself, the base price of the game is $0. Like the full game itself is free. Pardon me. So if they're selling optional cosmetics that don't affect gameplay at all, they don't give you any advantage, they're just purely for the look, I don't mind that, because the base game itself is free. I have other issues with Palia that go into the development and stuff, but I mean, again, that's a whole other discussion. But if it's a game that already has a base price and then has like pay to win kind of microtransactions, like, that's when I start getting like, well, I already paid for your game, like, I shouldn't have to keep buying it, you know? Like, I shouldn't have to, kind of like, you know, Dragon Age Inquisition, and then the Dreadwolf DLC was paid DLC when it is crucial to the storyline. Stuff like that I have an issue with. If it had been free DLC, that it's like, hey, we had to push out the main game for a deadline, but here's this, we're giving it to you free, I'd be like, absolutely, like, I get it, boy howdy do I understand when sales makes a promise that then you have to keep, so like, I get it. I sympathize, because that happens to me and my job all the time, and I'm just docking QA, I am not the developer that actually then has to do it, but, you know, I legit have more fun playing stuff like Phasma, Lethal Company, Warframe than I have playing any AAA game last time. Yeah. Most are so expensive. I get the price points. Yeah, it makes me feel like the game you spent $60. Yes, and it's why I am torn about games like Baldur's Gate 3, because on one hand, the constant patches that they're putting out are free. And that's wonderful. Like, again, like, stuff like that I am fine with. I totally understand that their sales team probably promised a deadline and they had to make that deadline whether they were ready or not. And that's not fair, because the thing that they were working on and they've put years and years of effort into then had to be kind of forced out the door before they were ready because of the promises of probably a different department. And so now they're making up for it. They're putting in all the stuff that they always wanted to put in. And they're putting it out for free. So I'm fine with that. It's like, you bought the game and you don't have to keep paying for it. I think that that's fine. I think that that's a decent business model. It becomes frustrating when it's like, okay, we put out a patch to fix bugs. Okay, great. Or we put out a patch to, like, you know, additional DLC. Okay, great. But then it's like, well, we put out a patch that's like, hey, we put in all this brand new content, so you have to replay the game for an 8th time. And it's like, should I just wait like a year or 2 to play this game? Because I don't want to have to keep replaying it. It's a massive, like, 120 plus hour game, and it's like, yeah, it feels like it changes every 2 months. And again, like, I understand, but I would rather just wait. That's why I haven't finished Bluebird's File, because I'm like, I mean, I got into Act 3, I do want to finish it, but I'm like, I don't want to keep missing chunks of content because, like, well, I'm already in Act 3, I can't go back to Act 1 and see these new things, because the idea is that you replay it and stuff like that, but I'm like, I don't want to play it 5 times, it's such a big game. If it was shorter, I don't think I would mind, because it's like, well, it has a more finite, like, start to finish, and I can restart and go back through it. But it is a game that has so much in it that I'm like, I don't want to have to keep replaying it. So I'll just wait a little bit. And also, I mean, tiny touch repulsed Ace rant. The fact that all their patches are like, hey, we updated the kiss animations. And I'm like, I don't care. I would rather the game not break if I go to a specific corner of the map and do a certain thing. Like, please fix that. And I know that those are different departments, but it's kind of like us watching some of the kiss animations and you're kissing and you're kissing and you're still kissing and you're kissing and kissing. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm sure that for people who are into this is great and fun, but the game is already very sexually charged, so a lot of the companion interactions are genuinely really uncomfortable for me. I would rather you, I don't know, like give Will a storyline in which he has agency in. That would be cool, instead of just like making out with your companion. I think that there's a time and a place for those priorities. And again, it's because I'm sure that they are all different departments, so I'm not begrudging the team at large for this. I understand. This is just a purely subjective consumer gripe that I have. Volume 3's bugs aside, they keep changing how Yes, they keep changing how characters act and adding additional nuances to them the community wants. The stories and characters just don't feel genuine. Yeah, I've seen the game right now when it changes every 2 months. I'm so tired of how much they focus. Yeah, I think that like these things can have value in how a character is presented and how they develop, and like genuinely even the ways in which the characters, like their romances and their behaviors, even if I am uncomfortable with how aggressive a lot of them are, they do accurately reflect that person's character. So it's like, it's not what I'm into, but I do understand that it's like, they're not all just the same, like, hey, we're all hypersexual, we're all gonna come on to you in the same way. Like, if by paying attention to like their inflection that the voice actors gave them, the movements that the voice actors gave them, you know, how they interact with characters and your player character, like, they do all lead into characterization. But also, I would rather that characterization come through in a way that doesn't involve them trying to fuck me, you know? Like, like, I feel like, give me a mix, right? Like, show me who they are via just who they are, and also maybe additionally how they interact with their romantic partner. Because it's not that one has more value than the other, I just want a little variety, you know? And also I don't want to be locked out of certain interactions and moments because I don't want to kiss the character. Like, especially characters like Gale, where if you turn him down, he gets real mad at you, and I'm not gonna lie, that feels horrible. That feels real bad and is not fun, and it makes me just not want to interact with Gale, which sucks because I really, really like Gale's character. I think his storyline is very interesting, and, well, I have more to say, but I don't want to just, like, rant about Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's hard, and I want more than anything to give the characters actual agency. Gale doesn't like something I do, have him just straight up turn against me or leave, not just the one key moment. Moral choices, not the romance stuff. Yeah, it's hard because on one hand, I like that you really have to, like, push the characters to drive them away, because I think I personally would not have fun if I had to walk on eggshells around my fictional companions as much as I have to walk around on eggshells with people in my real life. To me, that's not fun. But I think if there was, like, if they shrunk the threshold just slightly, so, like, you don't have to do extreme actions to drive characters away, I think it would be, like, I think the way to balance it would be, dirge spoilers. When you first kill What's-Her-Face as a dirge, as the force interaction, which that part I'm fine with, I get it. But my problem with that cutscene, Bo was very upset about the scene too. He had many emotions about it. My problem with that cutscene was okay, I can focus. My problem with that cutscene was that, like, you can either... You barely hear him? Okay, good. He was very loud for me, and lots of noises in my house today. I'm also just gonna put my tablet down because I'm not drawing. My problem with that cutscene was that the way that I tried to go about it was like, I wanted to take responsibility. I wanted my character Bluebird to take responsibility for killing What's-Her-Face, right? Of like, hey, I did this, I'm not gonna try to hide it, but I don't know why I did it, because your Dirge also has memory problems and is just kind of doing these things on compulsion and kind of blacks out. And so I wanted to play into that of like, hey, I did this thing, but I don't know why. I've been actively telling everybody at like camp that like, hey, I have these violent urges and thoughts, I don't know why, and all the characters just kind of brush it off. But then now it's happened. So it's like, I was like, okay, well maybe there can be a bigger discussion about this. Except there wasn't. The dialogue options were all like, you take credit of it and you're proud of it, or you lie and you try to hide it. Like, there was no middle ground, and it felt very weird, and it felt very like I didn't actually have agency in this moment, when it was a very simple middle ground to write in of like, you give me the dialogue options before this cutscene to tell my companions about this thing going on with me, or to not. Like, they give you the option of you can say something or you don't have to say something. I think that a variable should have been included in that, the coding behind that dialogue sequence and that chain of events of like, if you told your companions about it beforehand and you own up to it in the moment, that they respond appropriately to that. Not like, hey, I did this and I'm proud of it and you're just gonna deal with it, and your companions are like, well, we're gonna keep an eye on you because you're a murderous psycho. And it's like, well, I told you that this was an issue and I'm not owning up to it in a proud way. Like, that's not the dialogue option I chose. I chose the one that I tried to like take like responsibility for my actions, but in a sense of like, hey, I don't know what's going on, like I need assistance and support from these people around me. I don't know, like it felt very like there was a piece missing. They don't lie about the urges, but they want to do them, so they want the party's help. Yes, exactly. And like, I love that the Dirge storyline has so many different ways to play it. And frankly, like, I always get really sad when I see fan art of people like, or just posts in general of people like, they seem interested in the Dirge playthrough, but then they're like, well, I couldn't go through with it because I didn't want to be like a murder hobo. And I'm like, but you don't have to be. Like, that's why I really like that origin background, because you have the option to do that, but you don't have to. And it makes me really sad that it was kind of marketed as like a murder hobo like origin, because it's not. And again, if you want to play that way, I don't have any problem with that. Play the fictional video game however you want, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of missing out on like a very nice flavor for their potential TAV, because they think that you have to. And that's not the case. I think it actually gives you a lot of like wiggle room and a lot of options to respond to different things, like that you, however you want, you know. Let my Dirge fuck Gortash, exactly. Dirge's the ideal way, especially as it connects perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I do also, a huge part of me thinks that this should have just kind of been like the canon origin, but I understand why they didn't force that, you know. I think it, to me, it kind of is, but I also understand if they didn't want to force people, especially with kind of how obsessed with the Dirge storyline is with animal harm. I don't really know what that's about, other than they looked at a Psych 101 book and were like, ah, sociopathy is defined by harming animals. I'm like, well, it's not. It is a more complex state of being than that, but okay. Also, I have to waste a ritual spell every day with speak with animals to avoid it. Yeah, it is very shock value, which I don't jive with. I know some people kind of, some people enjoy it, sounds wrong, but like they don't mind it, or they can respect that in horror and stuff. It's just not my flavor personally. One of the cuttings for the Dirge of Hawaii. Yeah. It feels like the game wants to give players lots of nuance and agency, but then when it comes to those actual moments, you don't really have any. You still kind of have just scripted 2 or 3 options, which again, I get it, like, because scripting behind the scenes, like, 5,000 different outcomes to a game or a storyline is so much work because there are infinite permutations, right? So that is not a flaw, I don't think. I completely understand that there's only so much you can account for. There's only so many things you can write and have time to write, especially in a game that allows for so many different, like, crazy solutions to different problems and stuff. But I wish it just was honest about that. Of like, hey, we give you lots of options, but not like, we're the most choice-driven game out there. It's like, well, you're not. Like, you're not, and that's okay! That's okay! I've enjoyed many games that only have, like, 1 or 2 options to different solutions. Like, it doesn't take away from the story, and it doesn't take away from the effort that your writers are putting into the story. And I really like the story of Baldur's Gate 3, actually. Like, I really enjoy the overarching storyline. I love the character storylines. You know. Especially when it comes... Yeah, and that's true, because they have everything, every voice line is voiced, and they have all the motion capture and animations and stuff, so, like, doing every little possible outcome is very expensive. It is a lot of work, so I totally get it. I fully sympathize. Also, I'm just like, this orb is janked because I got distracted halfway through. I'm kind of just gonna give up on it. But I will do one more. You know, I don't want anything that I'm saying to be taken as just bland, baseless, heartless criticism, because that is not my intention. A lot of what I'm saying obviously is subjective, and I'm not so arrogant to believe that I have the one true answer to how to write and create video games and stories. And also not to dismiss all the hard work that any team puts into what they do, because I think that that's just cruel to do. And that's not my intention. But I did pay $60 for the game, and I feel like I have... I feel like I have some space to be like, these are some issues that I personally have with it. And I can also go on just as much about a lot of the things that I do love. Because there's a lot of stuff. I love all the characters. I love the environments. I love just their little dialogue interactions. I love the amount of items. I like that you can dye your clothes. Good morning, we talking Baldur's Gate 3. Good morning, Blue. We are, yeah. I will let you know I have mixed feelings about the game. So, this is not a rant space. Like I was saying, I do have a lot of things that I like about the game. I love the characters. And I think that's why I have some criticisms with the character storylines, because I love them. And I want to see them shine. I want to see him shine, and not just Astarion. I want to see all of them shine. Like, I understand he's the fan favorite, but please, anybody else, please. I love him too. He's great. Spoilers, Act 3, when you take him to the little camp with the people, and he's like, we should go right now. Like, his voice actor, chef kiss. Neil did an amazing job. Deserves all the accolades that he received. Because just his full, like, body, I mean, they all did amazing, right? But, like, his full body acting and his inflections and stuff, he genuinely did an amazing job. I love all of them. I think they all deserve extremely high praise. But I would like to see more of them. Hi, Kume! Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a spoiler area. I'm trying to be kind of vague and just overarching mechanics, but I do apologize about spoilers. That's right, I haven't gotten past Act 2 yet, so I can't speak too much. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I only just got into Act 3, so I haven't completed the full game. I know a lot of spoilers because I purposely looked up spoilers before I started a Dark Urge playthrough. But I myself haven't gone through everything. So specific mechanics and feeling of, like, Act 3, I can't speak on because I can't speak on what I don't know, you know. Mysterian's great, please bring back Old Will. I just feel like Old Will had, like, a story. He feels like very stocky. Yeah, and like I like New Will and him being just a nice guy, right? Like, because I like nice characters, and that sounds very vanilla and boring, but I am very emotionally moved by people who go through terrible things and go through them wiser, but they retain their kindness, because that is very hard to do, and it is something that I myself have failed at, and so I find those stories very inspiring and very touching to me. I understand if people don't resonate with that, obviously, like, it's a very subjective thing. I like the New Will in the sense of like his personality of being this like daring do-gooder, that he struggles with his relationships and wanting to be this hero to people, and he just wants to do the right thing, right? Like, but he's constantly punished for it, essentially, but he still does it, and like, I love that. But his current story iteration just takes all agency. Like, you decide how his story goes, and on one hand, I get it. It's because the player character is supposed to have agency in the game, but if you're gonna put so much emphasis on specific characters, maybe let them have a say? I don't know, like... Also, I like you grab some actual crit too. Hey, did he also? Like, you struggle with vengeance versus justice? Yeah. Play enough early access to get much of Will before the current iteration. I do like current. Yeah, I like him too. Old Will wasn't bad. I don't dislike Old Will by any means. It's more of like, if I had to pick between the two, I'd go with current Will, but if Old Will stayed around, I would have been fine with that. Him being more invested in the goblins was so crunchy and good. Yeah. And I think that like that would have some emphasis, because like you could have story beats of like, if he's in your party when you go there, of him wanting to intercede, and you have to maybe like talk him down or something, or you can't bring him. Well, I don't like you can't bring him at all, because that kind of sucks, but you know, it was a goblin companion with Old Will. Okay, that's my other thing, is like, I wish that you could side with the goblins, and I understand story reasons. No, you know what, I don't, because I think that if you truly had pure 100% agency in this game, like they say that you do, and this is a criticism, and I'm sorry for it, but this is a criticism, you should be able to actively side with the Grove or the goblins. And it's like, well, spoilers. Well, you can't side with the goblins because they're being mind controlled, essentially. I think that you should be able to side with the goblins, down the line free them from it, and they actively choose to side with you as actual friends and allies. That's choice. That's choice with consequence and results. Same thing with if you side with the Grove, you then get those characters carried through the rest of the story. Again, as usual, I completely understand that is a lot of work to do those two parallel storylines as you go through the main overarching storyline. But by not doing that, you're giving the players the illusion of choice, because they don't actually have a choice. Part of that is because, you know, they're using raw Faerun rules of goblins are just evil because Gary Gygax said they were evil 70 years ago. And I understand a lot of why, because the game just started out as just, we're gonna go fight goblins in a dungeon and we're not gonna really think too hard about it. That's fine. But I also don't like the idea of sentient people are just inherently evil or inherently good, for obvious reasons. But I think that would have been so freaking cool if they pulled like a Fallout New Vegas, and people side with you, the player, not the factions at play in the game. because you carry your factions through to the end, and then whichever side you're going with is like, well, good, you got all these allies for us, so you're gonna all work together to help me, right? And you, the player as Tav, could be like, no, I mean, they're following me. I helped them. These are my friends, not your friends. That is like so good as an option, because of course then you don't have to do that. But stuff like that feels like actual agency to me. And in a way, yes, it is still very limited, because you still have your, like since we're speaking of New Vegas, or I am rather, you have, like, you can side with the NCR, the Legion, or essentially yourself, right? In the end, you only have really 3 choices. There's maybe some, like, subtle changes within those, but at the end of the day, you only have 3 endings. But the way that those endings are set up, you feel like you actually contribute to them. And I feel like a lot of the endings of Baldur's Gate 3 have that, of like, well, the decisions I've made have led me to this point, and I can now commit to them or not. And I think that that part's fine. Okay. But I think just adding stuff like, hey, you can actually side with the goblins would be nice. Especially since now they added Minthara as a companion. Of somebody that you can actually, like, recruit and work with. And obviously that was added later, because it is a lot of work to do that and implement the systems that allow for that to happen. But man, if they had just let this game, whoever was calling the shots had just let this game bake for like another 5 years, phenomenal. I'm sure that all the ideas that they surely had and they are trying to implement now would have just been like incredible. Because the base game is already quite good, right? Oh, this was a very bad green that I picked. I would have absolutely loved to see how they let their ideas that they clearly had really truly shine. Okay. Also, I'm obviously biased to like Will because A, he's delightful, and B, him and Lucy have a lot of shared traits, so of course I'm going to like Will. Because I like the idea of playing with that, vengeance is fun, and I do wish there was more media in which we were allowed to enact vengeance and it wasn't punished. I understand why. But sometimes, you know, it is fiction. Sometimes I just want to go stupid, go crazy, you know? But I like the idea of vengeance doesn't necessarily equal justice. And how that might impact a character and their decisions of doing what's right overall, but isn't necessarily what's right for them. And I think Old Will really exemplified that very well. Now he is just kind of a do-gooder that is constantly punished for doing good, which I think is very good flavor. But it does make me sad for him, because he's my good sweet boy. And I also understand why he has less content, because they had to swap his voice actor like halfway through production, so all those animations and stuff had to be changed and re-recorded, so, you know, again, I get it. Just because I have gripes with aspects of the game doesn't mean I don't understand why a lot of these things are even in play. I'm no fool. I'm doing very badly at coloring this orb though, because I'm distracted. About rambling about Baldur's Gate 3 and video games in general. Welcome back. Your orb is great, thank you. It is not my usual up to snuff, but I'm also usually not this animated while I'm trying to do these, so I'm not gonna begrudge myself too hard. They are just warm-ups, so it's fine. Oh yeah, we made this little orb. I should add the shading to this too. Go with a nice yellow. I like the colors of this one. It's not blended very well, but I do like the colors of it. I'm so ill-equipped to have an articulated conversation. I have very limited game context. And I'm still like, no, you're fine. I am, creative writing as a general subject and game design are things that I feel very strongly about, so, the clearly undiagnosed autism in me kind of jumps out when I talk about it, because I quite like having debates and discussions, and I get super into them. Okay, I think these orbs are fine. Again, they're just warm-ups, so. Okay, so what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna just touch up Balon's, character sheet. Welcome back! I kind of made the simplified one. I want to update it to be like this Lucy one that I had made now 2 years ago, which is a frightening thing to say out loud because it sure doesn't feel like it. But I just need to update his, like, obviously the shadow on his little jacket and stuff here. Because they are aligned with these, well, lines, but they just don't look right to me. Bring it down. Hey, Bonnabelle. Oh, okay, bye. Oh, it's because she hears the dog barking. I'm glad you guys like him. I like him too. He's kind of an idiot, but he's my sweet boy. My new little Barb. This is his coat layer, yeah. I don't want to fully shade this. I think I just did the little shadows. But I do... I remember I wanted to add a little seam here. For his jacket. Still crying over Scarlet last night. Do not give him a gun and we both just... He's so... Yeah! Who is this man? He's pretty. This is a new character that I'm going to play for a game that Wretched Thing Layla here is going to run. Fallon Wolf is a barbarian. He is a Path of Beast barbarian. His backstory and reasoning for that is the setting is Layla's original country of Lond. It is removed from D&D. This is something that, like, this is from, like, our stuff that we have written together. And I mean, well, I don't want to take credit because Lond is still your control and Tosin is mine. So they mix, but end of the day, like, I feel like executive decisions fall to the respective person. You know, obviously if I ever say anything that you're like, nah, I don't agree that Lond would have that, like, because it's yours, of course. But I have a country called Wista, which there is no magic there for long sorted reasons. Well, physically magic is not allowed and socially it is not allowed. But because of that, their society kind of developed more similar to ours of like rudimentary steel, steam power, things like that. So they invented guns, which Because, you know, when you have to combat things like high magic and fantasy, you need something to kind of keep up with that. But they're also freakishly tall. Their average height, their shortest people are like 6'5", and they're usually average around like 7 feet or taller. Because I just think that's fun. If they don't have magic, they are not physically stunted, they just kind of grew. I don't know, I don't really have a biological reason for it, I just thought it'd be fun. So even like their animals, like their livestock are also like huge. So they're almost kind of like half giants in a way. Like all their stuff is big. Everybody wants a Whiston. But they came over during a war on Lond, on Layla's place. They came over to help with the war. So a lot of Whistons post-war kind of just stayed there. They just sort of acclimated. They made families. They just liked it there. They had trouble going home after dealing with stuff like magic, which was very prominent in the war. You know, just the myriad of reasons and fallout that come from, you know, armed conflict in foreign countries. So Falon is the descendant of a Whiston who, she just stayed. She just liked it over on Lond. She met somebody who is a native Lond who kind of, he was just a hunter or a trapper or whatever. That was just their job, is they went out and hunted and brought meat back and sold it and whatever. But they accidentally killed a Fae guardian in the woods, and so to repay that debt, he had to take the place of the guardian. And so his grandpa is this hunter, and then his grandma is a Whiston. So he is like half human, half essentially kind of like Fae. So he's not like a full werewolf, but he is Path of Beast, so he can transform and get canine-like features. And all that to say is because he is a Whiston, we were joking about him having a gun. So he has the gunner feat. So he knows how to use a gun because he is trained with firearms. But mostly Falon himself is just kind of an easygoing guy. He's just nice. He's kind of nice to the degree that people often kind of take advantage of his niceness. But that's why he has Astra, who is kind of a bitch. And I say that. Scarlet themselves call her a bitch. This is not me being mean, I promise. Astra is just kind of a jerk. But he loves her. They're besties that I'm gonna romance the fuck out of Scarlet. Cause Falon is just a sweetheart. He's just a little stupid. His character flaws are that he is a himbo with a little smiley face. That is on his sheet. And that's also BT Dubs. This is why he has this little tie on his arm. It's like a pink, because Astra likes to wear lots of pink and girly things, and so he has it there because he likes her. And I did that as a fun for me, and then I told Scarlet that, and she just made like a pained noise, and I was like, yes, correct character choice, I did it. Like, listen, just because I'm Arrow Ace doesn't mean I don't know how to write romance. I'm very good at it. Are you minding my partner's character for tell me more. I want to hear. I think also I do want to. I don't. There, maybe? Yeah, just maybe not that high up, though. Okay, yeah. Bork. Oh, I was about to try to erase a line on a completely different layer. I do feel like a hypocrite being like, I had a problem with how aggressive all the companions were romantically in Baldur's Gate 3, and then me being like, I love romance in fictional settings. I do like it, I just, like, even characters that I write that are more aggressive romantically, they value consent. If they get turned down, they are not going to be, unless they are villain coded, you know, their feelings might be hurt, but they're never gonna make another character feel bad about turning them down, because that is a terrible feeling with which I have had to live with, so I don't like to write that part in fictional settings. But I think it's fun. I like exploring all kinds of relationships. My character is Laura, a night elf ranger, grew up an orphan of very poor means, but remains very sweet and bubbly and friendly, but partners is Solara, a sun elf paladin whose strongest ability is intimidation, is very tall, and we love her so— oh my god! I love it! They sound very sweet. Oh, there my god. Awesome. Oh yeah. This is the original file, so he's all broken. Right? They sound so cute together! We love a good small toll and a good grumpy sunshine. It's about the flavor. It's about the contrast. Laura collects these colorful scarves and they're like her prized possessions, but even by the time they showed up in town together, Solara had already been gifted one. Oh my god! Oh! That's still really cute though! That's very sweet. Okay, I don't want to fuss with his coat too much, I just wanted to fix a few things. Because I would like to actually work on, like, the sheet itself. It's mostly just text, but... you know. Got nice and warm. Cute. Oh, also Fallon is a Gaelic name meaning little wolf. And then obviously Wolf is German for wolf. So his name is Wolf Wolf. So he is my little Moon, which was not intentional. In my defense, yeah, he's Moon. In my defense, I keep a list of names, just as like standby for like characters and stuff as needed. And Fallon was just like a name that I really liked, and then so I picked it for him, and then I was like, well, if he is not a werewolf but has like werewolf ancestry essentially, I wanted to give him the Wolf last name because Wistons are, I mean, deadass, they're predominantly white people. They are kind of like Irish, Welsh, German, kind of a mix of background. Not obviously a perfect analog because they are not real. But that is the inspirational board that I pull from for them. So his last name being Wolf comes from the Whiston side. But then I was like, oh shit, I looked up the meaning of Fallon, and I was like, oh shit, his name is Little Wolf Wolf. Well, I'm not changing it because that's very good. So it was an accident, but I kept it on purpose. Because I just think that that's funny. But yeah, so his name is Little Wolf Wolf. Which fits because he's kind of, well, I feel bad calling him an idiot because technically his stats that I rolled were pretty like even across the board. So his intelligence and his wisdom are both higher than Lucy's. Technically Lucy is more of a himbo than Fallon. But Lucy is more of like, she's not academically inclined, but she is aware of her own like shortcomings, so she is very cautious and, you know, tries to compensate for her lack of intelligence, I suppose. And she's also very good to like deferring to the judgment and expertise of others. Whereas Fallon just kind of like doesn't really know that he's an idiot and doesn't really know that he should have limitations, and he kind of just does things. So technically I feel like their scores should be reversed, but also their scores kind of influence their personalities. Gotta make a Moon, just not tell it. It's so good. Every time I tell people that his name is Little Wolf Wolf, it 100% worth me keeping it, because it brings me delight with how delighted they are. This is what their name— exactly. There is no greater reward than the delight that people experience hearing it. Okay, and this is him without his coat, because he has this also, he has this really shabby, dusty, horrible coat. And Astra is like very lovely and elegant and like Lolita-esque fashion sense. And so they're just opposites in many ways, which again, I love the contrast. But you know, he needs somebody who is unwaveringly loyal, and Astra is very much that. If she likes you, she is very, very dedicated. And I feel like Astra kind of needs somebody who is like, hey, maybe we don't need to solve all of our problems with wanton murder. So hopefully they will be a good influence on each other. I feel like also because Fallon, you know, he is the gentle giant, right? So he kind of just lets people push him around, because he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I could say something, but then I feel like it'll come off as too aggressive, and it just makes things awkward. I don't want to actually scare or upset people, so it's fine, I'll just do whatever. And I feel like Astra's gonna be like, no, fuck this person. You're not doing X, Y, or Z. And I feel like he needs that too, right? Like, he needs somebody to kind of encourage him to set better boundaries for himself. So I feel like they could learn a lot for each other. Or maybe he'll die and then Astra will just go sicko mode, and that's fun for me to witness, because I like the drama. Solara and Laura, given the resources, would be very, very butch femme. Solara's a big tough farm girl, and Laura would explode if she got to her— oh my god! I love it! I love it! The contrast is so good, like, I love it. I like characters that are similar for obvious reasons, but opposites are also very good. It also has have a type— yes! Yeah, Fallon is like 6'7", I think I said, and Astra's like 5'2". So their height difference is, I think her head comes up like to his chest or something. I remember I measured it out with the little Mr. Initial Man height comparison tool. It's very good. I think she's also like very petite build, versus he is 6'7" and all muscle for now because he's young. If he lives, you know he's gonna get chunky when he's a bigger boy, because I think he deserves that, because it would be cute. But for now, even just being pure muscle, he's like 300 pounds-ish. I'm very bad at estimating weights, so he's just kind of in that range. But he's only like early 20s, so he is a very young lad. So for now, he is just kind of a little young buck. But when he gets older, his physique will for sure change. Get some chunk, get some fluff. Cause he'd be so cute. Makes me wish there was ooh, you know a tool that helps estimate weight? Yeah, please. If you know it, if you have the link, I'll give you like a little permit. Because I'm very bad at estimating that, because I get kind of too caught up in like, well, you know, people's technical builds, it like really depends on like their fat to muscle ratio distribution, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So if there's a tool to help me estimate that, I would greatly appreciate it. Because I know I'm bad at it. I'm not too proud to say that. And then just let me know if you have the link and I can give you a permit. Ooh, bodyvisualizer.com. Okay, well, let me open that real quick. Ooh. Well, I'm gonna bookmark this. Yeah, save. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect, thank you so much. I can accurately reflect people's weights. Input like height, weight, exercise per week. Yes! That's so good! So do I like get where's this code? Get out of here. I think it should I think it should be kind of more like this. Maybe I should just I don't want to get rid of it. The problem is the line isn't accurate. It should really be kind of I figure out what a reasonable body weight for any given. Yeah. That's smart. I'm always like aware of what a character's build might be, but then when it's like, you know, I for my personal stuff, I never have to say how much they weigh. But then on D&D, it always has that feel that I'm like, I don't want to just not put this in, but I have no idea how to, I have no idea how to guesstimate this. That kind of be more accurate. I think I'm really gonna whiff this, so just bear with me while we try to figure it out. 1 second. Well, okay, that's not bad. And the line is way too thick, but... I just put thinner lumberjack something. Yeah. That's smart. I should probably just do like a general build. Well, now I can do this though. Ollie's character sheet. Dorito. Wait, Dorito. I do kind of wish it wasn't... Well, I was gonna say I wish it wasn't weight and it was build, but I guess mechanically in 5e, if you are like keeping track of weight, because some spells and items and stuff require that knowledge, I do understand why it would need to be tracked in some situations. You know, I decided I actually don't care about this line, so art is fake. So time to go. Okay, bye, Wewa. Everyone should go check out Layla. She streams. Yippee! One thing is if you're hauling your buddy along, running from a drag, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Go check out Layla. She streams. She does the video games. And she's super nice and cool. And probably 70% of my characters wouldn't exist without her. Oh, I'm drawing. I should be drawing. I was still in sleepy cut mode. I guess it doesn't matter. It's fine. My god, my eyes are so wide. I feel like I'm like, oh. Sleepy. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is fine. I'm not gonna stress. This is just a little reference sheet. It has all the important details. Oh, I do need to... Okay, I'm going to remove his clothing. Do not be alarmed, he has underwear. Also, he has Ken doll proportions, because I'm not gonna care. Yeah, I need to fix his arm here. So this is, like, not the right... what is this? This is 15%. 18. I feel like I used like a smaller line, but 6 is like too small. No, okay, maybe I use 6. The PNGs. Oh no, get going as well. Thanks for. Well, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Always love to talk. Unfortunately, I think Shadow has a cooldown, but everybody should go follow Blue as well, who also makes amazing art. Oh, but you stream on a different account. That's right. Everybody should go check out Blue stuff. Blue was cool. End fodder. That's what it was. I wonder. I don't remember my other shout out command because I'm not a professional. I'm a sham. Yeah, I gave him very silly Ken doll anatomy because I was also figuring out like his outfit. This is a copy of his original file where I was like, I don't even know what this guy looks like. But I wasn't gonna draw his dick, so. Didn't need to know that information about him. Okay, that is kind of better proportion. I feel like also, oops. Technically there should be like a line for the elbow. I don't care. He's gonna have a jacket on either. Where is your skin tone? Okay, that's fine. Okay, put your clothes back on. You beast. I do need to now fix this because I brought this line up. Ah! Oh, eraser tool. There we go. Easy fix. And then this way, every time I look at his character sheet, it won't be going insane. Little underwear. Boop. Down just a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. Could be better, could be worse. Hi, Almondio. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Happy Saturday. Your weekend's going okay. Okay, I think that this is fine. It's just for a pretty simple reference, so again, I'm not gonna stress it too much. Well, I am gonna. That's fine. Okay. Okay. Now I'm for real gonna not stress it. Hey, bud. Okay, so we're gonna export this. Save. And then put his little jacket on. And save. Okay, I'm not gonna actually BRB, but I need to import these. I'm gonna start my BRB screen, and you can look at all this lovely art from other people. While I import his static PNGs. Look at it. Ooh, ah. So lovely. What a style. The colors, the shapes. Ipsy! Okay. We've imported. Actually, just kidding. I need to import one more thing. Sorry. I'm a liar who lies. What did I say? It was from 2022. Rectamundo. Here it is. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna use it as reference. I'll just remake it by hand. It's fine. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to import the other reference sheet as reference. Procreate, please. Yes. Okay, great. Merge these. Or the opacity. He looks smaller. Why is he so much smaller? How did that happen? What? Hang on. He has the quality. I didn't resize him. He shrunk. My boy shrunk. He got shrinky dinked. My sweet little boy. Got shrunk. Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. It is funny. Yeah, he just got a. That's okay. That's okay. Hey, Mello. Wanna hang out? You can hang out. Not the shrunk. They shrunk the dunk. Okay. Well, that's okay, because I guess technically if this is a full reference sheet, I'll need more room anyway. Need more real estate. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna group these. Get out of here. I don't need his writing. I fixed his photo. And now I have to open his character sheet on my computer. Because... D&D character sheets. I really need to organize my character sheet folder because I have even like Ezra's folder sheet in here. And I'm pretty sure like Thistles and... yeah, and Sucralose. Which is not bad that I have them, but they're not my characters. So I really should put them in kind of their own folder. Okay. What did I do for her? Right. So I'm gonna need palette, some details. He doesn't really have items of value right now because I have not played him yet, so I could probably leave off the items. Well, I guess I could draw like his axe or something. I have his skills, I have his AC. Bunny. Well, if you don't want your butt tufts to be plucked, then maybe you shouldn't shed. What do you think about that? Like, how dare you? Okay. Oh, get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna move his name. Oops. I'm gonna do a couple different. God, the Lucy one just feels so old. It feels like I wasn't 2 years ago, but it also feels really old, you know? Oh. Mallow, it's really hard to pet you and work at the same time. You know that, right? Shouldn't care. I'm gonna put this up here. I gotta turn off magnetics. I'm gonna have to shrink. Yeah, like 45. About 40. Yeah. I do like this font, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm trying to think of like what part I want to tackle. I guess the text part is just going to be easiest, so I could probably just fly through that pretty quick. Then focus on working on his skills, because I'll have to draw those icons. I could just trace the AC badge because I drew it, so I can trace my own work. I do like, apparently, that I made him older than Lucy. That's kind of funny. Because she sure doesn't feel like it. She feels old. I mean, I guess either way they're kind of the same age, but... Put my pen down. Him. He's 24. He's fucking ginormous. Oh, he's a half-elf. Oh, is that true? I don't think that's true anymore. Well, he's variant... Statistically, he's variant human for Wystan. I guess he, yeah, actually, because I think his... I think his grandpapa was an elf. And so... But mechanically, he's human variant from... Okay, I'm gonna leave it. It's technically not wrong. And also it doesn't matter, so... you know. Bring that down to... Oh. Okay. Oh. I'm free from petting Bun, but now my hand is covered in... Ugh. I brushed off my hand and it just went everywhere. Here. Okay. Okay, but now I have both hands, so I can actually get something done. Okay, he's barbarian, path of the beast, that's fine. Age, race, okay. I'm gonna also put this up here since it's not a part of this group. It's here. Dots. This is noteworthy, isn't it? I like Noteworthy as a font, but as a reference sheet font, I think I had used the Arial Rounded because these were reference sheets that I would potentially give to people for like commissions, and I think Arial is easier to read if somebody has dyslexia, and I feel like Noteworthy, while a fun font, does not, I don't know, maybe it has drawbacks. What if I adjust the kerning a little bit? Just 5%, just a little bit of space between. Get out of here, Lucy. The ghost of Lucy needs to get out of my way. I feel like 5 is too much. What about like 3? So it's spaced, but not like drifting apart. Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's okay. Hopefully that is still legible. I don't need these. Oops, whoopsies. Uh-oh, whoopsies. I did not realize that these are all one thing. I just wanted to erase the little those. Everything. What do you find? 3. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, no. Did not. Also, I changed my mind. I don't think he dislikes winter, but I think he doesn't like... Layla putting a train on land also reminded me. Oopsies. Also reminded me. The train on Panacea is not going to be as widespread as I initially thought it would. Which is fine. But I for sure have to rethink the geography now. Okay. I'm gonna trace this because, again, it's mine. I drew it originally. And art is fake, so I can just do that. This is like not the right size anymore. Ugh. Okay, what are his skill proficiencies? Skill proficiencies are... Okay, athletics I can just reuse. Athletics, I can reuse animal handling. Perception, wow, okay, great. Persuasion. And survival. Well, I didn't mean to accidentally just reuse all of Lucy's skills. They just sort of applied to him as well. Okay. It is what it is, I guess. Well, then I'm definitely gonna just reuse these. Oh, what is the one I have to do? Persuasion. I feel like that was performance. I need to check something about files. Well, let me look on my computer real quick. Or I throw up the BRB screen. What is that? It's not what I was looking for, but it's still pretty good. You know what? I can look Okay, no I didn't. Okay, so I do have to draw one from scratch for persuasion, which is fine. I wonder if I could do like, huh? Ah. I wonder if I could do like a handshake. You know? Like you're persuading via like peaceful means? No? Something like that? Oh my god, please. Maybe angled a little differently, but yeah, something like that. Could be nice. I don't like this general shape. I think this side should be a little more out. But... Okay, I like that shape. That's not too bad. I just, but yeah, okay, that's not bad. Technically, if the fingers would come up on this side. That. Work. Work. He's got a lot to say. And by God, he's gonna let me know. Well, Abby's working too, and I don't really know why that's happening. Oh, now I know. Okay. I'm here now. Get this kind of general shape down. Okay. Ooh, you know what I could do? Not related to what I'm drawing. So what I wanted to do after the one shot that I ran was, you know, I wanted the characters that people played to kind of have like essentially just for the sake of words, like a legacy, and that I wanted that to show up in different ways, depending on the character. And I think most of them were going to be kind of like just passive things, because I don't want to take away from any new characters that would be played. But well, Sukalo's technically survived, so that's a thing that I can talk to Stu about. Little ideas. But Aberos is also space. I'm kind of like, he technically, Spencer told me that he did kind of like go back and see he went back to like see his family before the one shot and narratively like the big final fight, but he chose to go back to Panacea to try to help. So maybe his family is sending like little relays to try to find out what happened to him, or just some kind of contact or something. But since they're up in space, maybe those relays are being sent as like little meteorites that the party can like find around the world as just kind of a passive side exploration thing. That's cool. Yeah, I'm like I want to kind of implement, because I want kind of essentially every race to be possible. Yeah, little magic messages, and like maybe they send like little like care packages. Like they suspect that he's dead, right? Because they're not foolish, and at this point I feel like I want at least 20 years to pass. But maybe just like not to make things too tragic, but you know, when people kind of they go missing, and when you don't have that confirmation, there's always kind of a part of you that holds out hope. And so maybe like they send little things, and maybe that can be a side quest if the party chooses to pursue, is they can make their way to his family or something. I don't know. Or maybe not, I don't know. I do want little thistle flowers to be kind of grown and used as like lapel pins for people who are maybe kind of like underground, criminally inclined, but not in like a negative way. It's kind of like this sign of like, if you meet somebody with this, that they're not like, yeah, they're on the up and up against cachet, but they're not like, you know, quote unquote like law enforcement, you know? So if you want somebody that can kind of go through those underground channels, or if you need like a safe house or something like that, I think that could be kind of nice. You know, she kind of came to represent that side of the world that, you know, there's no one right or wrong way to do something, as long as you are doing the right thing, sort of a thing. It clears, you contact them, they can hook you up. Yeah, exactly! And then if anybody picks, like, you know, the criminal background or something, they kind of automatically have that. Like, that is just part of their free equipment, is they have, like, a little thistle flower that they can put in their little lapel to contact their mechanical contact, I guess, that the background gives you. Be cute. Who else? Ezri, I need to work on his deity. His being of death, because, I mean, obviously as a direct opponent to Kashay. But I feel like that will have pretty significant impact, like world building wise. Since it's kind of a broader concept. Wow, that looks terrible. That line was just real bad. I'm just gonna think. Or just fake this. This is a... It's just as a guideline. Oh, pardon me. Gives them access sort of stuff. Yes, yeah, exactly. Who else was in the party? Stuklok's definitely, again, gonna have... Lottie. I don't really know too much about Lottie's, like, background. I don't want her legacy to have to do with Kashay. I mean, unless that is something that Scarlet says that they want. Because Lottie did not turn against you guys in that fight on purpose. That was not a choice that she made. And it seems like that is the belief. That is not true. That was just pure circumstance and like coincidence that you guys came up with the blood idea. That was not the answer to that door riddle, but I thought that it was really cool and smart and kind of aligned with like stuff about Kashay that I know. So technically both would have worked. If you guys had said it and then decided not to go with it, then you could have solved it by the other means. And the effect, the dominate person effect could have been used, but I think when Ezri cast Dispel Magic or something, I don't think he had the 5th level or higher slot. I think by then he was tapped. So if he had tried it earlier in the fight, he probably could have removed it, but... C'est la vie! Order of Knights akin to the Knights Templar Secret Society type stuff. Maybe, yeah. There's definitely a city that will probably need their help. Probably the main city. I'm not gonna have, like, ticking time world stuff going along, because I think... Oh. Capital O, what? What happened? What happened? A group dedicated to finding out the truth of what happened to her, whether she betrayed the heroes or not. Ooh, maybe! Maybe there are some that, like, kind of insist, like, no, she remained true to the end. Whereas others are like, well, that's not how I heard it. There's definitely going to be rumors about the original heroes. Their fate is going to be uncertain. I mean, it's going to be obvious that they did not succeed against Kashay, but it's going to be uncertain if they have been enthralled, if they were absorbed by his phylactery completely, if they're still kind of skulking around. I think it's gonna be kind of a, again, just a plot hook, because that's what I kind of want the campaign to be, is be just assorted plot hooks and, you know, let people decide what they want to pursue. And if they don't pursue, that's fine. I do want it to be kind of player driven, of like, okay, here's your current set of plot hooks. Tell me what you guys want to pursue, and then I will essentially make that contained adventure. And then when you're done, you go back to your main city and do stuff there if you want and what have you. Because I think if I ran just a purely open-ended world, that would not work for me. But I think if I have, like, if people say, like, hey, we want to go check out this thing, I'll be like, okay, then that's what we're gonna do next time. And yes, yeah, exactly. It's kind of standalone adventures that kind of work together over time. Yeah, that is exactly what I want. And, like, because I also like the idea of, you know, maybe there is like a big, like, hey, this is a big plot thing going on. But if people are like, I don't know, I kind of had a bad month and I just want to go fight some, you know, train robbers, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go do that. Like, that's fine. Have a hub for, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want you got, well, I was gonna say, I'm like, I kind of want you guys to stay at like a kind of like adventurer guild, like boarding house. So you all have like your own rooms that you can do whatever you like with, but it's not like a full like thing to manage. So if you guys, but then again, I mean, also if people want to have like, you know, family in the city or something, they can just go stay with them. Like, I'm fine with that. It's more of just like, if people don't have an idea for what they want, where they want their character to stay or connect to like the main hub city, they don't have to worry about it. If they have ideas, great. But if not, it's like you guys will have a place to go. Hobgoblin Samurai, you could. That's another thing I want to do, is I want to like allow for kind of any race. And if they're kind of like, but then it's like, okay, well, so if you want to play like a centaur, like, I feel like that's a very specific race, and that's fine, but then it's like, what was your home community like? Like, work with me, like, what are centaurs like in this world? Like, I have, like, the groundwork, but if people are like, I want to do this weird thing. Like, when Spencer wanted to play a Gith, and then Stu also played his Gith Sukalos, I was kind of like, well, I hadn't considered space. I like it though. I was like, they're not Gith in like the Faerunian sense, but I'm kind of like, they're like space wizards. And that's cool, and I like that. And so I kept that. Now, it's not something I would have thought of if they hadn't proposed, like, I want to play Gith. And I was like, you know what, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's come up with where a particular person comes from. Yeah, I got that from Dungeon World, and I really like it, because I think it takes a lot of pressure off the DM, but it also helps you guys, like, connect to the world. And not in, like, an obligatory sense, like, if people aren't into that, and they just want to be like, I don't know, I just want to play, like, a merfolk, and I don't really know anything about it, I can be like, that's fine, like, I can come up with stuff if you're cool with that. And if they're okay with it, then I can write it. But I want to give people, like, the option to. I don't want them to feel like, well, I don't know anything about your world, Suki, so I want to play this character, but I don't know if I can. And it's like, of course you can. I think the only things I would have, like, hard rules about are, like, I want gnomes to be mouse folk. I want gnomes to be little mousy guys, because I think that's cute. I don't want them to be weird, scary looking, like old men. I want them to be like little, like, borrower, like, mouse people. Because I think that's cute. I don't know, like, I just think that's cute. Dwarves are kind of like stockier build. I think that's fine, but maybe they're only like 5 feet tall on average. Gnomes are maybe like 2 feet, so they're small and mousy, but they're not like children. They're just kind of have like those features. And then halflings are literally half of something, so they're on average like 4 feet tall. But like, if you're a halfling, okay, well, what did your parents essentially like mate with? Like, so you could be a halfling, but what is, like, physically, what do you look like? Of like, are you a halfling with an orc? Are you a halfling with an elf? Are you a halfling with a human? Or, like, I like that idea too, because I think that it's not just, again, like, here's, you know, halflings, dwarves, and gnomes are kind of all just like, you're all just short people. And it's like, well, yeah, but physically I want those to be different. So I think that those would be, quote unquote, my hard rules that I'd be like, this is one thing I want to do for my world, but I don't think that people will have any issue with stuff like that. Working together to world builds why. Yeah, I really like that concept. Can dwarves be? Dwarves can be mole people. I like that. I like that a lot. And again, like, that's my thing, is because I'm like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with, like, the default modern fantasy mythos that we have established. I think there could be a lot of fun. But also I feel like, you know, how am I gonna say that, like, Genasi are physiologically created by being born in proximity to this big fissure in the world called Dumera's Fault that just leaks magic. And like that's a really, really specific origin, but then it's like, yeah, dwarves, gnomes, and halflings are all just short. Like, you know, like I want to do something that kind of gives a little bit more flavor where possible. And then of course, because it's like it's something that we're all kind of building together, like, you know, like Spencer making and Stu by extension making gifts that were both wizards, which was very, very funny, even though they were both very different types of wizards. Just that alone from a one-shot was like, okay, Gith are a thing in this universe, and they are still primarily like space-bound, but they are kind of like an intellectual, scientific, like, explorers, and they're wizards, and they use their magic in kind of like a scientific sense, and I love that so much. Like, you're born from this cataclysmic magic event, you guys are just small. Yeah, like, yeah, exactly, like, and I think it's okay if, like, you know, some races have like that very specific like origin, and then humans are like, well, we're just humans, or we're just elves, like we just kind of evolutionarily evolved from whatever. I think that that's fine, but it feels weird when like one or two things are very, very specific and then everything else is like, hey, you're just there. It's got a little bit of variety. I like, oh, you know, did I write down Dumera's thing? I think I did. I look at my Google Docs, which are just a real mess. Here she is. Yeah, that there's this belief that like they're like in the center of the earth is, honestly, in standard Faerun gnomes and halflings are interchangeable. Yeah, unless you go hard in the stereotype. Yeah, and that's the thing. And like even dwarves are too, like, it's like, well, you're a rock person, but also so are gnomes. And it's like, well, so then really what's the difference other than maybe proportions? I feel like. And then it's like, well, what if you don't want to make like a gnome who's a tinkerer? Like, then you're just kind of a halfling. You might as well do the halfling and get like the lucky feat or something. Oh, but like, there's like this belief that like magic comes from like the very, like in the core of the earth, right? Like our molten core, that's also where like the highest concentration of magic is. So Dumera's Fault is this giant like fissure, essentially where like the two tectonic plates kind of eroded over each other and snapped open, and there's this giant like fissure in the world. Where it just like leaks magic. So there is like some foundation to this belief that magic comes from like the world itself. But Dumera is like, as the goddess of magic, she's like a miner, like a excavator, that she goes down into like the earth's crust, digs up magic crystals, and brings it to the surface and to the other gods and stuff like that. So it's like, I like things in fantasy where magic is this very like elegant, like curtain and silk and all this kind of imagery, because genuinely I love it. I think it's very fun and like a beautiful visual. But I also like that it's like, well, if magic is typically stored in crystals and stuff in fiction, well, crystals are from the earth, so maybe they're literally formed from the earth. So it's like, she's not this like elegant person, she's just this like this rough and tumble little mole person. Maybe if she's, you know, they love to make dwarves be these characters that are like mountain delving, so maybe she has like mole features, and it's like, well, she has to go underground, maybe she's blind because she doesn't need to see. And I feel like that can inform like how people are seen and interact with the world. The weave is based on plate tectonics. I mean, I'm just saying. Because I think that was my natural inclination, and then I was like, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I mean, right, like there's no point in being too stressed out about originality because nothing is truly original. Everything is informed by what we consume. And that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, but what if I do something a little different? That's how I came up with Sinir and Kukuela. It's life and death deities. That death is... The death cult is often seen as like a group of celebration. Because they're like, hey, we got limited time on this earth, enjoy it. Instead of something scaly. Not that death is scary or something to respect, but they do both. So I haven't thought of all the races. I did think about, though, because Kashe gets to kind of go unchecked. Initially, on like a partial or a complete success for the one-shot, the world state was going to be that there are, I think also these hands are fine. I think I've done futzing with them. They are quite large, though. Hi, Eucryphia. Yeah, I have a Banui. She's laying down right now. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, because his necrotic bullshit, was going to spread. But now not. Now it kind of gets to go unchecked, which is fine. It is what it is. But I really like the idea of playable undead races. Not anything too insane. I think I would limit it to stuff like maybe skeletons, revenants, like whites. I don't know, like some things that are kind of already established that I can pull from those playable races that people have already mapped out. That they're kind of caught in this like undead limbo where they I know, like, they're so cool. I'm like, I was gonna let them be a thing. They were just gonna be kind of limited, but now I'm like, well, if this is a thing that is just where the Warforged count isn't dead. No, because I think for me, Warforged have a mechanical basis. I think if somebody wanted to make the argument that like, hey, I want to make a Warforged because my person is a spirit that was placed into this thing, kind of, I think Slayer was like that, where he was like a revenant that was placed into a Warforged body. I think I would be okay with that, but they would have to just specify that that is the basis of their Warforged. If they were just like, I'm just a mechanical thing that was created, I'd be like, okay, well then you are just a Warforged. You're not like, you're not a lid, you're not a living dead that is walking around that was kind of cursed and caught up in the magic. And then I think because it's going to be more widespread, not only is it very much a very accessible option for players to play as, it's going to have significant societal impact. There was already going to be, but it wasn't gonna be quite so... Intense feels like the wrong word, right? I feel like intense implies a level of, like, severity and violence, but I think that there are gonna be things like... It's gonna be really divided, right? Because to me, there's gonna be kind of several different types of undead. There's gonna be, like, your pure desecrated undead that Kashe, the big archlich, uses as his minions, right? Those are the things that, like, you guys fought as in the one-shot, all just the zombies and the banshee, all that good stuff. Just the classic monsters. then there's gonna be like the lids, living dead, which their physical bodies are dead, but they have retained their faculties. Like, they retain all their memories, they have full sentience, they are completely independent from Kashe. They're kind of in this suspended, like, limbo state where they are very much not alive anymore, but they're not dead or enthralled. But I think that there's going to be this fear and this belief that they are either currently enthralled by Kashe or that they have the potential to be. And so they're kind of, and also just, I mean, the general very human discomfort of being around something that should be dead but is not. I don't think that that is a strange thing to propose. I feel like people would just be uncomfortable with that. This hand is very much too big. You know, I don't think that that's a weird thing to suggest. And so they're going to be kind of ostracized in society, and there might even be like an entire community town that the players could visit, that are comprised of comprised of these lids that, like, they don't really have anywhere else to go. There was already going to be a group that is anti-necromancy, so they're actively going to be targeted by this group now. And in general, they just like, they've kind of been corralled to this region, but they're also going to be kind of elsewhere in the world where maybe they're disguised or they're kind of more accepted, like they weren't forced out of their current communities. And then that could impact if a player wants to play one of these types of people, that the world is going to respond to them differently. And in some places they'll be responded to positively. I don't want it to be a pure negative. They would meet people who are very accepting and maybe can even relate. But there might also be areas that if the party goes to, they might not be so welcome, or they might run into people who are threats and how they deal with that, you know. I don't like to promise, you know, pure consequences, but I don't want to shy away from them either. I like to keep things balanced by, there are possible good things you can get from this, but there are also possible negatives, and I'm going to try to keep them proportional, you know, and I like to communicate with my players of like, hey, if you do this thing, this is probably going to be the response, and you would know this. Kind of like when Stu wanted to walk into the Cloud Kill. I was like, look dude, like, if Sukalos would do this as the character, if he wants to just like take this consequence to do something he wants to do, I'm not gonna stop you. But if he wouldn't, don't feel like you have to. Like, it's fine. You know? I don't like picking on my players, and I don't like picking on my friends, so... But if people want to pursue stuff that kind of have like more dramatic tone to it, like, I'm down with that. I like that. I'm down with the drama. And you know, I kind of already know how like the first session/session 0 would go, which would basically be just everybody talking about their characters, because I like that in Dungeon World of you kind of run like a session 0, like by requirement, not to the extent of games like Dungeon World where you literally are creating the world together in that moment, because obviously I have a bunch set up, and I don't want anybody to feel like they have to. They want to play, but maybe they don't want to put in the world building, just fine. But I would want to like talk about everybody's characters, get into the quote-unquote like opening scene, and then bring you guys to like the main hub city, where you are guaranteed out of character meta. I would tell you guys you are safe here. no adventure is going to take place here. You can do stuff, but unless something pretty dramatic happens, if you are in the city of Sanctuary, it is specifically called, it is heavy-handed for a reason. If you are in Sanctuary, you're fine. I'm not going to thrust world-ending consequences on you in Sanctuary. If you leave the city, that's where things can happen. But it's like, if you want to hang out in Sanctuary and just do stuff, you know, there might be like plot hooks that come up, like somebody steals your purse or whatever. Like, it'll be very minor things like that. Because I like the idea of giving you guys somewhere where you can feel safe and take time to do whatever you would like to do. And if you don't want to spend time there, you just, you know, come and go as you please. You're not forced to stay there by any means. There will be other towns and stuff. And you guys will meet the other... one of the many factions now that have sprung up that is against necromancy. Because necromancy, I also don't want it to be purely outlawed. Because it is just a school of magic. But there is going to be a specific faction that is like, okay, well, great, it's a school of magic, but look what it did. Gotta bounce, go grocery shopping? Hell yeah, dude! Enjoy! Drive safe, get all the goods. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, they're kind of like... yeah, necromancy is just a field of magic, but he took advantage of it to do this terrible stuff to the world. Gonna talk about this more later? Hell yeah, dude, I'm always down to ramble about this shit. I've thought about it a completely normal amount. Obviously. But... goodbye. Bye. I will talk to you later. But yeah, so they're gonna... and I think that could be fun, because then if, like, a player character plays a lid, they're gonna be actively tracked by this group. Not to a degree where every adventure that the players go on, they'll be on, like, a timetable, because that's not fun. For me, that's not fun. That's just stressful. But maybe that is an adventure. Is that they're trying to do kind of like a minor goal, and that is the big conflict. I think that could be fun. I'm gonna... this a little bit bigger. And then they'll meet characters who are totally cool with necromancy and are like, yeah, this group's kind of a little bit too intense. Like, we get it, but also, calm down. The Deadlands are gonna definitely be a bigger geographical feature because it got to continue spreading. It doesn't take over the entire world, there is a limit. The train system's not gonna be as widespread initially than I initially thought, because if the Deadlands are a bigger space, then the railroads can only be established to such a degree. They're still gonna try, though. The guy who made them is still gonna try. They are a vital asset. They will have implications in the world for travel and transport and different factions. Also, I really want there to be trained highwaymen. Like, in general, I just want that to be a group. So... I'm the DM and I say so. It's basically the logic there. Ah! I've also been thinking about just like a couple NPCs that they can meet and potentially befriend and give them just like different resources and little mini adventures and plot hooks and stuff. The two of the low stakes ones are Basil and Milton Valentine, who are husbands that I think they run just one shop. Initially they each owned a shop because the host town was going to be smaller, but I think I want it to be like a city, even if I don't make everything in the city. They are retired adventurers that they just kind of like started out like working together, became friends, and then of course inevitably fell in love and got married and then settled down once they were done adventuring. Probably had to do with Cachet's stuff, that it just became too dangerous. It wasn't just kind of normal adventuring and odd jobs, the stakes were much greater. And so then they opened up like a little like adventuring shop for supplies and stuff, called the Glass Bee, which is the little trinket that Milton used to propose to Basil. And so they named their store after it, and I was like, oh, I love them so much. they're just gonna be very sweet, just friendly, chill NPCs. That the party has no obligation to befriend or anything. They can literally just be shop NPCs. But I love them. I like them a lot. They're just normal folks, and I love just a guy character, you know? Okay, I like this. Yeah, they're very sweet, and I love them. So I'm very excited for them. I'm very excited for Ritz and Riley Rydell. Riley is a one-shot character that I have played when we did our Sigil games, where we could just kind of pick up characters and just do a random adventure regardless of setting, whenever we would start it in Sigil, which is in Faerunian lore like the city between the planes of existence. So it made like a good hub city of like you can just make whoever you wanted, whatever homebrew if you wanted, and we start there and then we can go anywhere. So kind of like in the fiction, it was set up that like that's how we wanted to run weird one-shots. So I played Riley. He was a skeleton warlock, because again it was Sigil, so I could do whatever I wanted. He is Actually, he's actually my icon on Twitter right now because I love him. I love little Skelly Boy. But his twin brother is Ritz Rydell, which is just a nickname for Richard. And Ritz, in this setting, they are quite different. Their backstories are shifted quite a bit from when I originally made them to now fit this setting, because I just really wanted to use them again. Ritz is the leader of the city sanctuary. He is Lord Rydell, because he is an artificer inventor, and so before Kashe kind of destroyed everything, Ritz kind of, it's not size proportional. That's fine. Ritz kind of made his fortune by making, like, practical things, like refrigerators and telephones and stuff like that. That wasn't what was it on purpose? The eyeball? Being on fire? The fish emote. Oh yeah, yeah, it's a BTTV emote. I love the ooh fish. Yeah, I think it's 4 O's for the little pogfish. Sorry. But yeah, so he kind of like made his fame and fortune before everything of just creating like practical enchantments for things. And then when everything kind of collapsed, he is also just a nice person. So he used his resources to kind of build up Sanctuary as a place of defense against Kashe's nonsense, and, you know, helped keep communication up between communities, and just in general did what he could to help. But then because of it, people are like, well, you've already helped so much, so what do we do now? And he's like, okay. And he just kind of fell into being in charge. But he is a nice guy. He's genuinely trying to do his best to help and kind of rebuild the world despite the very apparent threat. But also because of that, there are probably going to be attempts on his life, but that's for later, because that's kind of background politics that I don't want the party to have to worry about if they don't want to. But it's more of just something that I'm going to keep in mind as the DM, because I don't want there to be like constant timetables above the party's head. It's one thing if like something specific happens and it's like, okay, you guys did this thing, this is gonna be the immediate effect. It's another if they don't kind of opt into that timetable. But it also doesn't make sense to me that Kashe is actively out there. His minions have an active role in the world. They have their own little territories and stuff set up. And they're gonna go after the person that is a very high profile person in the world, and is kind of giving people this safe haven and is a direct threat essentially to their boss. And in general, you know, there's kind of in real world history, if there is a time of peace, it's because there are people working very hard and actively to maintain that peace. And if you take those people out, you can do whatever you want. So it just, I don't want to put a pressure on my players, but it also doesn't make sense to me that this isn't a thing that could potentially crop up at some point in the game, if it even goes on for that long. But that's for the future. That's not like an immediate issue they're gonna have to worry about at like level 2. because that would be bonkers. It is not going to be a political game, so. But I like Ritz. I'm very excited for him. He's just a big nerd deep down. He just wants to talk about his inventions. Puppy. And then I really like Alavi Sinton, which I don't think any of my players are in the chat right now. No, I don't think so. So I can say it. She was a kind of a background NPC for a short game I tried to run, and it failed spectacularly. And that's okay. It's okay. It was one of it was among one of the first games I ever tried to DM. So I had a lot to learn, and it's fine. But it did fail spectacularly. It was going to be a kind of lighthearted evil game where they all played cultists and they had to go to this town and try to claim the town for their cult. And they could do that by just killing everybody. They could do that by killing certain people, by winning the town over. There was no one way to do it, but that was their goal. And Alavi Sinton was their boss that sent them there. But now she is going to be and this would be known kind of world history for their characters anyway. She's going to be the leader of the group that is kind of anti-necromancy. And she is a big, scary lady, an older lady, so I love her immensely. Because we love a good badass old lady. And initially I had toyed with the idea of her being connected to one of the one-shot PCs. So part of it was she hates necromancy because she has this personal stake of one of her friends or a cousin or whatever died trying to stop Kashe. But then I was like, well, I don't want to impose too much on the players. I want to just let them make whatever kind of character they want. So I changed that, but I do still want to use her. So I don't know, maybe she's still gonna have a personal stake, right? Because for her to make this whole group, there has to be proper motivation to me, even if it is not wholly justified. Just enough justification that it makes sense. But she might show up in the session 0 because I want the group to be established as an antagonistic force, but not necessarily a villain, right? Because I feel like those are two different things in storytelling. You can have something that is working against the protagonists, but isn't necessarily the bad guy. So her group is not good. What they do is very black and white thinking of well, he used necromancy as his first step to power to destroy the world and do all these terrible things, so we need to just get rid of it. Which is not wrong, but is a very non-nuanced way of looking at what happened in the world. And it dismisses all the good things that necromancy does as a school of magic. Because technically stuff like Revivify in D&D they are necrotic spells. They are spells in the School of Necromancy. So there's a lot of like good applications, and also again, it is very much just a field of study, and you cannot learn anything by removing a field of study. So her group doesn't really look at it with a level of nuance. She's just kind of like, we just need to get rid of it. And if we get rid of it, then we can prevent this from happening again, and we can find a way to destroy him. So she's not wrong in a sense, but she's not right either. And part of because they want to get rid of necromancy is she will actively, her and her group will actively fight against Kashei's forces. So even if she doesn't like the player characters for whatever, not that she's just going to come out the gate swinging, but like if there are things that lead to her not liking them, she's not going to just be like actively trying to murder them. Like if they get attacked by Kashei's forces, she's going to defend them and defend innocent people and kind of try to take the hit while other people escape or something. So I'm like, I want her to be that kind of a character. And how, of course, the players react to that is not in my control and not my say. You know, that's completely up to them. But from the DM perspective, because that's all I can speak on. All this to say. Those are kind of like the big NPCs I have. Well, I also, I've drawn him a few times. He was in my little starter doodle. I'm also very excited for my character Costa, who is again, he's kind of like a neutral character, but he's gonna be like, if they want to get like weird magic items, they can run into him, and he's just gonna have like weird shit for them to potentially buy or barter for. Because I like characters that are like that. That just have weird, inexplicable items for the party to partake in. Because, like, you gotta get your weird stuff from somewhere. Okay, I think that these are fine. I'm going to color them now, so let me move these out of the way so I can color pick from them. Oops. Bow. Oh my god, hi Spencer! Hands! Yeah, I'm working on Fallon sheet. I'm updating it, because the one that I already posted was kind of like simplistic. I had just thrown it together. But I have some time to give him like a full reference sheet, so. How are you doing, Spencer? You doing okay today? Boy alert, boy alert. Lad spotted. I wonder if I want to do something. Just to distinguish the hands from one another. Doing okay? That's good. You've just been rambling? I have just been rambling about D&D. Or Kume and Eucryphia and Rampant Bacon and everybody else who's here passively as my captive audience. I suppose not captive. People can come and go as they please. This is boy. Pet, 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 pet. He's a lad. I'm excited to meet Rain. Hello, excuse me. This is the picture you posted while I was asleep. Excuse me? Like, I know I said new wife dropped, but like... Like, hello? But like, hello? Excuse me, ma'am? Ma'am? Miss? Miss? Ma'am? 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 Miss? Ma'am? Like, pardon me? Sheesh. Oh, truly though. Like, wow, you look good in armor, but you sure look better without. Sorry. She's got like 19 charisma. She sure does, baby. She got a 20 charisma to me. Yes. She's so good. She's so good. I know that it's kind of like almost obligatory, right? But I feel like everybody's PCs is hot in this game, like already. Like, Asher's adorable. LM is also like, sir, mister, sir, mister, sir. I figured I'd keep pointing to like how to RP her last night. Don't want to spoil the surprise. I'm extremely excited to play her now. I'm very excited. I was already excited, but now. He is LM is like, hello? Hello? Your little knife child, too, I am very intrigued by. I would like to see more, Kyume. His eye is way too small, and I'm so sad because I really like it, but it's way too small. Have to redraw it. It's okay. Thankfully, it's not a complicated shape. I can't remember what I named her. I'm so sad. Oh no! Well, you know what? See, to me, when that happens to me, when I'm like, if I name a character but it's just not sticking, I'm like, well, then this just isn't your name. Your name is something else. Like, frankly, Milton that I was telling you about a second ago, like, how about the new one? Yeah, like Milton, technically when I very first made him, his name was Melton, so it's not like far, ignore it being weird, I'm not gonna turn it off. Melton, it's not far off, but in my head I kept calling him Milton. And Basil would call him like Millie in my head as like a nickname, because their love is beautiful, and they just deserve cute nicknames. I was like, oh man, I need to adjust my thinking. His name is Melton. And I was like, no, his name is fucking Milton. Like, if that's what I keep calling him, that's his name. He's trying to tell me. Oops. sometimes it just be like that. And that's okay. Good question, what the heck are we listening to? Oh, okay. Just Zelda. I was just like, I was getting like Stardew vibes from it, but I knew it wasn't the Stardew playlist that I have on this playlist. So I was confused. Okay, that's better. It is more proportional to the others. That NPC that Layla posted, I don't know who that is. I am not privy. I'm no longer privy to this inside information. As a player. Mystery and Indrik, I know. Bar you, Twink spotted. Put them up. I know, they're so cute. I'm intrigued. Okay, so the hand is a light gray and the puppy is a darker gray to differentiate. I accidentally gave Lucy and Fallon kind of like all the same proficiencies. That's just what felt right. But also that I don't have to draw all these icons from scratch. I just traced over them, so kind of worked out in a way. I think also I would change Lucy's proficiencies if I had given the chance now that I know her, but it's fine. Well, I think animal handling. I think animal handling and survival are obligatory to the folk hero background. I know animal handling for sure, but I don't remember. And then I think for fighter I gave her athletics and perception, which I don't really use. Ironically, I use persuasion a lot, but I have the commanding presence, so I can add superiority die to those rolls. And now that I've multi-class into paladin, I get proficiency with it, so it worked out. Her team is just so skilled that she doesn't really need to use a lot of her skills. You know, it's like she doesn't need to use survival if we have Tyken, the ranger druid, who then also gets like advantages and all these bonuses if we're like in the forest, which is his natural terrain. It's kind of like, we don't need to roll for that. We have Tyken. That's what he's here for. He's a darker inside, lighter outside. She's okay with. She likes delegating tasks. Let other people shine at their expertise. Hope our party is balanced because I'm missing a lot of it. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. Because I think you know, Valen's kind of like very physical martial build. I assume Astra is going to be very magically built. I'm assuming Kume, your little love, is going to be probably magic and kind of like charisma built. And then as a paladin, you're kind of athletics, persuasion, intimidation. Yeah. And I mean, that's again, like, that's where paladins kind of excel, so I think we'll be okay. I think technically the only paladin rain frontliners buddies, yeah, baby. I think we have a good mix of like frontliners and ooh, rogue warlock. A roguelock is powerful. That would be cool. I feel like we have a good mix of like 2 frontliners and then like 2 back/mid. So combat wise, we'd be fine. And I think even outside of that, we'll be okay. The only thing that we're technically lacking is healing, but Astra has healing capabilities. And Layla's like potions and stuff are gonna be accessible for us, so we'll be fine. Can't get away from— dude, rogues are cool. Like, yeah, rogues are fun. They're very, very fun. If that is your bliss, then you should chase it. Okay, now that these have colored in, I can wibble them around. I'm gonna merge all of these layers at some point. So I know this looks like 12 things in a group. It's not gonna be like that by the end of it. It's just for organization. I promise. I promise. Because I need to adjust like the size of this box and stuff. But I don't want to have to scroll forever. For once it was incredible. I don't know. One shot at. Welcome back! How many levels of what yet? Dude, you're fine. Yeah, no, you're good. You got time to figure it out. You know, shop around, see which abilities you kind of want first, and go from there. Okay, because I need to put, yeah, his stats. I'm gonna just take this one. I'm gonna just, well, no, because I do want it to be a line. I have magnetics? No, I don't. Oh, actually these aren't aligned, so I guess it doesn't matter. I have to fix it. Strength, Dexcon. Okay, that's fine. What was it? I had it at 20. Oh, no, it was 25. That's right, because I copy-pasted this. Oh, okay. Wisteria was level 5 rogue, and that was already too powerful. I had to go check. Give her characters is so funny to me. Intimidated by tall people now. Oh my god. Fallon just... oh no, does he not have this emoji? Oh, he took it off. Oh no, it's right here. Yeah, no, Fallon is fucking huge, dude. Wistons are kind of literally gigantic. Their height is a range from like 6'5" is short to like 7'5". They're very, very tall people. They're the land of giants. So Fallon is not quite full height Wiston because he's only partial Wiston, but Sir, Mister. Constantly gonna be trying to get on top of a table or a tree to talk to him. Oh my god. And Rain being 5'8", I feel like that's average, but then depending on her heals, She could be quite large, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, twirls hair. Okay, 18. Gotta tab out for a second to look at his sheet. 16. I think it's 16, right? Yeah, his skills are pretty decent. His intelligence. Well, that's so sad that his intelligence is higher than Lucy's. She deserves better. She deserves better than what I rolled for her. It's fine. I think it's funny. I also don't want, like, pigeonhole cute. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Just make her, like, 5'6", so she's tallish to some. I don't know. I know Astra's, like, 5'2", Scarlett said last night. So if you want a marker, Astra's 5'2", Rain is 5'8"-ish, depending on footwear, and then Fallon is 6'7". Agreed, follow your heart, do what you like, but if you'd like a measurement of... You're gonna do the little height chart thing? Yeah. I don't know how tall Elim is. I kind of actually just want to ask real quick. Be like, hey. Hey. Okay. I asked him, we'll see. I don't know, obviously, if he's busy today. I don't want to pester him. Okay, this is gonna go here. I don't like, the letting here. Leading? Letting? I'm realizing now that I don't know how to pronounce this. Yeah, we'll do -5. Leading? Letting? It must be leading. Now that I'm thinking about it for more than 5 seconds, it's gotta be leading. Give me a space between the two. I'll take the lead. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking when I thought about it. I was like, well, wait. I always pronounced it letting, but there was literally no basis for me to make that assumption. Whereas leading makes more sense, because for that exact reason. Take lead. I should have put a little bit of shadow on his little mutton chops, it's fine. Oh well. Wait a minute. I'm getting this effect that you get on your art sometimes, Spencer. See it? The like light pixels? It's not a full like white line like it's done to you. Why is it doing this? It's not a big deal. I'll fix it and re-export and blah 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 off screen, but I just noticed it when I zoomed in. I was like, wait, what? Okay, I don't know why it said that. Programming doesn't normally. Transparency errors. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering maybe because he had the background and then when I exported them, I removed it. Alpha, I think that got unalpha'd. Okay, I'll have to go back and look at the original. Well, fuck it, I can just go do it right now. It means right here. The more I think about it, 5'6" 5'6" is good. That's taller than me. I'm only 5'4", so I'm still working on Hobgoblin lore. I think I'm doing too much. Listen, That's up to you. That is what you believe. Okay. They're all kind of filled in. See, it's because it's not here. I can fill in, like, the line. But it's happening even where it should be fine. I don't know if maybe, like, the fill threshold wasn't extended enough. So there are kind of empty pixels. Oh. I can also, like, put a little bit of a background kind of behind him. Oh, this file's still a mess when it comes to layers. I might have to do that. I do, though, I guess, while I'm here. I didn't want to kinda... Just a little. And this purposely isn't meant to have full shading. Just a little bit. Because there are no alpha blocks. I wonder. This is just a, that's just a color thing. That's not a missing pencil. I don't know. Okay, it's fine. I mean, it's fine for now. I can come back and soup sop that later. Oh my god, it's snowing again? Stop! Okay. Okay, but back to this. Okay. I need to extend this, correct? Yeah, because it's kind of more vertical. So let's start arranging stuff. Put this here next to those. I would like to... Yeah, I think I want to arrange these. Just overdoing it. Even if it means just hide the... Well, let me... Okay. Getting ahead of myself. In alphabetical order. Right? And then perception, then persuasion, then survival. Okay. And then I guess survival could just go here. Oh, whoa, hey, hang on. Over here. Oh my god, now the hands are too big. I'm gonna put myself in a blender. and just put it on the highest setting and nature take its course. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna just let it be fine. I'm not. I'm probably gonna come back and redraw those, but I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm sick of drawing them. I'm sick of drawing them. I don't want to draw them anymore. Okay. So this I can... Oh, I should not have done that, actually. I need to... And, yes. You. Can hear you. These little hearts. These cute little hearts. Actually, I can't find any blenders in nature. Oh, they're out there. They're just watching and waiting. Just letting you put your guard down and then they'll strike. The moment is right. Yep. Oh my gosh. Repeat, please. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Well, this doesn't need to be, because I'm gonna probably just take this and break it apart is what I probably did initially, and I'll just do it again. Get out of here, get out of here. I really whiffed that, but it's okay. Oh. Oh my god! Okay, update. Elim is 5'11". Elim. I have to ask him how to pronounce it again. Next voice call. So we've got 5. I know. So we've got a 5'2", got a 5'6", we have a 5'8", we have a 5'11", and we have a 6'7". What a spread. Wowie zowie. Don't mind if I do. That beat is intimidated by most of you. Short king. Wow. Oh, to be a short king among giants. That's cute. That's cute. Okay. Let me, I guess. Well, that's not what I wanted to do, but it's fine. Oh my god, please, freehand, please. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, correct. You are so right, Procreate. I do need to enclose that line. Okay, that's good. I like that. It's not exactly the same, but it's fine. So the high chart. Well, I would like to see this high chart. Oh yeah, baby. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. This is pretty good, everybody. Please observe. Please observe. This is very important. Pretty good. Good information to have. Silly. Okay. Let's see. Yes, so I need to make this red now. It's not an exact to the original, but I think it looks okay still. So... sure if I can... Can I just do like a cut? That's so cute, the hard light. Look at that nice little fuchsia. It's not what I'm going for. I just wanted to enjoy it for a moment. It's all these lovely little... Ooh, the overlay is cute too. It's Scarlet! Hi, Scarlet. Yeah, I'm working on Fallon's sheet. I'm making it all fancy. How are you doing today? Are you off from work already? Or are you still... These lovely colors. Anyway, no, okay, well, it's fine. I don't mind. Just do... Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. I don't mind doing it by hand. Okay. Those are nice little icons. So, where... Okay. I do need to look at, was this centered or... It was kind of left and right aligned. Not well, though. Not aligned very well. Okay, I get it. That's better. Okay. Let's see. I don't need this anymore because I just don't. I would like these to be a little bit more space above. Yeah. General piece down because to be space for the text. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I should put that in. I'll have to move all these icons. Ugh. That must be for Redwall. Let's go! Hear it up for dumb memes. Woo! Yeah, woo, yeah! Okay, Fallon is a bisexual, so let me just make sure I'm grabbing the right colors. Okay, good night. Well, I'll do like the bluish. I have like a lovely cobalt white, but there she looks like. That's kind of too indigo actually. I messed up. So I can see what I'm doing here. No, oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, I broke Procreate. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, oopsie, uh-oh, whoopsie, uh-oh. One sec. Oh, I have severely broken Procreate. Also not my starting screen, I meant my VR screen. Oopsies. Okay, it came back. Okay. Okay. Worked 5 hours, asked if we want to check in and see the boy! We are happy to have you stop by. I'm sorry that your work Wi-Fi sucks. Where's darling Carla? Yeah! Let's see if I can grab it again. Look at that lovely art from Kume. Wow. I'm pretty sure they're running your character here. Yeah, kind of like this one from last year. That everybody should definitely go and check out and get one for themselves. Because they're lovely. I'm pretty sure I put the new Lucy and Aurelia in here, but it's randomized, so I don't know when it will come up. Kume art is extremely good. It is very lovely. Get their ass! This is lovely art by Spencer, too. That's by Ashwee. neelyneelyart.twitter.com. Actually, I think it's what, twitter.com / I forget. Another one? Wow. Such lovely art by such lovely people. I kind of want to redo my overlay, but I'm not a graphic designer, so it will take me time. But I kind of want to like rearrange things a little bit so I can have like the art slide show up. Because I want to show it off. I like it. But I'm also neurotic and I like things being kind of like symmetrical like I have them now. I really wish it was a more complex reason than that, but it's not. I don't know. Anyway, I was making the bi flag. Okay, then it's like a nice light purple. Yeah, it is a combination of I really want to like do as many assets as possible myself. But I'm not a graphic designer, so stuff like overlay is not my forte. So it will inherently just take me more time to do. Oh, let me look at my whole reference real quick. Just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So part of me is like, I need to improve my overlay. And there are things that I want to do differently with it, just in general, but also that I have to do it. Not that there would be any harm if I, like, commissioned or bought an overlay from somebody, because people are amazing and creative and very talented, and there are a lot of lovely ones out there. But like, I want to at least take a stab at making it myself. And if it's really more than I can handle, then I can go from there. But I want to try first, you know? So I gotta put his AC. Oh, I guess I don't even need to duplicate this because... Hello? What are you doing, Procreate? Ah, for goodness. Okay, we're fine. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. Okay, I'm pretty sure his AC is like 16. Obviously, this is way too big. Ah! Kerning was what, -3? Wait, was it -3 or was it +3? Well, it would help if Procreate selected the text to do the thing that I would like for it to do. That was +3. Moving layers to... The layers in this with the text, where if you are on a text layer and you close the layers tab and it opens up the text thing, is kind of a nightmare scenario. I appreciate what they're trying to do with it and trying to make it intuitive, but it's not, so I wish they didn't. I really wish they didn't. And then also how you have to like select it, and then sometimes it doesn't actually fully select it, and you have to go back to the keyboard screen and select the text again, and then come back here. I'm sorry I have so many opinions today, but I do. I have many opinions today. Okay, I think this is a good size. Also the like icon. Oh my god, it's so terrible. And then God forbid you touch the screen like if I'll just do it like with my pencil. And so it doesn't bring up the keyboard because like, oh, you want to use your iPad keyboard with your pen, but it's tiny as hell. And it's like, no. I understand why you're doing this, but don't. I wish you wouldn't. Have you never seen that, Spencer? I think you could try. Oh my god, please. Also this. Get away from me. I don't get that. Oh my god, I have to. Let's see if there's a. I'm afraid to click pencil settings. Yeah, it's gonna bring me into my settings. Okay, well, I'll have to figure that out later. There's a way to turn that off. My god, I will find it. So, no, don't. Just need to lower that a little. Okay. I'll program my settings to screen that. Yes, please. If you don't mind, I would very greatly appreciate that. Thank you. You. I should rearrange these layers so that they are easier to grab. Why did you grab the heart layer? No, Procreate. No. Okay, that should be enough space for text. Lower these right there. I'm gonna grab this and put it here. I'm obviously going to change what is written here. Select all, delete. I think these should probably be. No, this is not right. These must have been a smaller font. Oh no, it was some 2 lines. Okay. Fair enough. What did we change the leading to? Like -5? Well, that's not very much at all. Yep, you're right. That's -5, huh? Doesn't look like much, but I suppose. C'est la vie. No, it's really not enough for me. No. See, like that, how I had it selected, I had all the text selected, and then I swapped back over and it unselects it. That's just a bug that I'm sure somebody reported and they just aren't fixing it. It's very annoying. And it's a very nitpicky, like, it's a low priority. Even if I was reporting this as QA, I would report it as low priority. Because it's not like a show-stopping bug. But also it is very annoying, so please fix it. This would be the kind of bug that I've reported, like, 3 years ago, and they just never fixed it. Probably because they were genuinely too busy, like, working on more important things in the product. But then 3 years later, a customer reports it as an issue, and they're like, well, we gotta fix it now. And I'm like, yeah, it's OP364. I reported it 3 years ago. It's fine. I'm not bitter about it at all when this happens. My day job. And I mean, again, even in my day job, I get it. It's because they genuinely have other things that are more important. But it doesn't make it any less annoying. I can understand and sympathize and be annoyed. I'm a multifaceted woman. I'm well-rounded. Oh, these hands have to be changed size because they're messing up. Ah! Okay. It's fine. Can hear you. Okay. Okay, we're gonna put you two on a matching line, first of all. Stop aligning with them. Align with the perception next to you. You're really just gonna be difficult, aren't you, Procreate? Okay. I suppose that's even enough. Good enough for government work. Likes animal handling should be fine. Okay. I forgot about little survival over here, didn't I? Don't forgore. Ah, ah, ah. Okay. Sorry about that. We'll just take persuasion. That's gonna be over here on its own anyway. Over. I'm probably gonna putz around with the formatting of this more later. Oh my god, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. Whoops. Oh well. Okay, so for this, I wanted to do originally, but I needed to get some things sorted. Okay. Sort that. I'm gonna put that back just because I want to extend this a little bit. So it doesn't feel quite so crowded. Get out of here. Here we Okay, that's nice. Nice little box. Okay, what else does Lucy's sheet have? I probably should draw like his great axe. But I have done, frankly, zero research into what kind I would give him. So I'm not going to draw it, at least not right now. Yeah. What can I do up here? Up here? Get out of here. Oh my god, the snow is going crazy. Quite lovely. Kind of looks like Hallmark snow. Or just like super fake looking. Just because it's really big flakes right now. Well, pardon me, because I'm kind of curious. Just check my weather real quick. I would like the hourly forecast. Couple of snow showers. True. It's just kind of a, I guess just a flurry right now. I can close this. Okay, it's not like a full squall, it was just kind of, did just clean up my car though. That sucks. Oh right, I guess I could put that he's got like little fangies. Yes, he does. I would definitely draw it better than what I just drew, but... Teeth. He has teeth. I do like the joke that he has, like... Pedum lucidum. Oh, he's got like big brows. Yeah, he's got like big brows, fluffy. Because they are kind of reflective. And I just love that as a joke. Although I guess he shouldn't, because I don't think he has night vision. I like it as a flavor joke, it's okay. Well, I guess so technically it's not like an actual functional thing that he has. He can snoot though. Got a little sneefer. Got a little sneefer. Got a little sneefer. That's very silly. Got them big old puppy eyes. Literally. Little blip. That's kind of stupid, but I kind of want to leave it actually. I would have to move his mouth like over here a little more. It's kind of stupid in like the best way, actually. It is so important. Yeah, no, I mean it's vital to his characterization. The blip. Ah, it's pretty good. Okay, I don't think I have anything like over. Yeah, I can trim this, which I'm sure Procreate will appreciate. Being smaller. He's just a guy. He's just a little guy. He's just my little wolf, you know? I suppose I could probably start. What are you doing? Oh. Okay, fair enough, Procreate. Fair enough. Just a little bit more space between them. I could probably start merging these layers. I need to keep moving them. It's not that big of a deal to just like lasso select them. I'll leave these separate for now, I guess. That in there. Combine. He's an ooh-uppy. Okay. This can stay over here because it's in the top left corner. This can go over here with the... Oh boy. I'm asking a lot of Procreate right now. Okay. It's doing okay though. Okay, now... I don't think I have a palette for Fallon. I think I have a palette for everybody else under the sun. Oh my god, I do! Oh shit. Hello. Okay. Cool. I should definitely add to it. Okay, what I'm probably gonna do for his palette is I'll just like take a screenshot of this little Procreate palette and like paste it in once it's fully organized. Didn't think of the word organized. I did do the screen. Yeah, you're gonna be fussy about this. Always are. Procreate, I would like you to... I would very much appreciate it, Procreate. Okay, well. That's not quite what I wanted. That's not what I want either. Okay. Okay, sure. I guess if it worked, that's what matters. I'll have to go through and like pick shaded colors and stuff for him. Which I don't want to do right now. And then what did I do for like the background? I just kind of like... I did like a solid outline and then a gradient interior. Okay. So what I'm gonna do... I'll just do a real obnoxious color just so I can see it. Pardon. Pardon, pardon, pardon. I know that's pretty hard to look at, sorry. Yeah, that's not as bad. Eh? Ah! Okay. Just a little bit off the top. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. For sure not a green then. Probably gonna do like... I'm gonna just put that there, just so I don't lose it. And then here, grab this. Or something like that. I'll probably even make this a little darker. Now. I'm gonna do that because then... Start from one. I don't know if I like that. I don't, it's too much red. Just saying. Just make it really pink. The blue contrasts nicely, but visually I hate it. Pink! Kind of a slight green undertone. Match his shirt. Not super saturated, but... Oops. Let's see. The warm coral. Yeah, because I don't really like this green. Let's go back to... I think the outer border is not really doing any favors. I think it's too orange. Maybe add just a little bit of warmth into it. It'll kind of mesh a little bit better. I definitely also want, it's not going to be this intense of a yellow. It's just for the sake of being able to see. Like a warmer. Whoa, opposite direction. So very, very soft. Like that, maybe? Let's see, because Procreate's not doing enough right now. Let me add another layer. Poor thing. Okay, well he still stands out, which is really what matters. It's just a little for flavor gradient anyway, so. Okay. Not too bad. I will draw like the mouth and stuff and his little snoot. Probably next. I want to move survival up a little bit. Oh, I see the downfall now of why I shouldn't have merged these layers. Oh well. Because I can't lasso that and this. I mean, I guess if I rasterize the text, it's not a big deal. I do also want to move this over so that it's aligned with... No. Okay, that's my bad program. You're correct. Yeah, there we go. That's lined up a little bit better. Okay. Let's see. As I look on my computer screen. Not bad. And I did fix his fada, correct? Yes, I did. When I made his initial sheet way back when, I accidentally had it flipped the wrong way. Like a real bingus bongus. I don't really know if I like, let me look at Lucy's sheet again. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, the dislikes were all the way right aligned. Maybe that's why I don't like it. Oh. No. Yeah. Yeah. And then... Whoops, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little... Okay. Some tidying up. Okay. I'm gonna put a little space, kind of like I did. His palette will go there. And technically, if I wanted to add his axe, I would have put it like here, but could technically still go there. Maybe. Just put a little pin on it. yeah, I think generally this is kind of what his sheet will look like. I'll keep poking at it. But yeah. Yeah. Ugh, I need to stretch. I've not stretched this entire time, which is quite bad. Okay. Maybe that's all I want to do today. Oh, actually, what I want to do. Extremely minor things. I just want to scoot him a little bit. Yeah, because I feel like if I switch to something else, then I'll sit here for another 3 hours, and as much as I love to just draw for 8 hours straight, that sounds sarcastic, but genuinely I do. I do need to, like, get up and stretch and go eat and do stuff like that, so... I think that's where I'll call it for today. Yeah, it's a really gotta... It would be one of those things where, you see, you're smart, you kind of integrate, like, a little break into your streams. I don't, I just kinda... I only really stream for, like, 4 hours. I really should make a break, but... if I were to continue streaming, I would probably take, like, a good 15-minute break. But... for the sake of my iPad, you know, it kind of is a good timer in a way, because it feels like the battery life when you're, like, actively using it lasts about, like, a good 2 hours. Obviously, like, bigger canvases and stuff will kind of drain the battery faster because it's doing more, but... So it's kind of a good, like, okay, well, I drew for 2 hours, I gotta... We'll go back. Well, unfortunately, I was probably about to finish drawing for the day. I kinda... did the most of his sheet. I'll probably finish the rest offline because I kind of want to draw something specific tomorrow. But yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. I would like to... let's see. Who is streaming? There's lots of people streaming. Ooh. Oh. Okay. No problem. Thank you guys for hanging out. Vibing Discord, we get bored. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna get up and stretch. Okay, I do wanna raid somebody. I will give you guys the option. Do you guys wanna go see more art? Or do you want to go to, like, a game? Like a puzzle game? At least in so far as the raid. Go see art? Okay. I'm cool with art. Both of these people are very, very cool. Art. Okay, we're going to what? Oh, the game is Chants of Sennaar, which is a linguistic language puzzle game that I myself have been itching to play. I have it, I just haven't yet. Because I want to, like, sit down and, like, actively take notes and stuff as I play. Deeply, but people want. I mean, both are good. So we're going to raid somebody called Slumbear. Slumbear is a amazing artist. I absolutely love their style. They are a mature audiences channel. Very cool. I love their style. I just love, like, their line weight, their colors, their joke drawings are all extremely funny. So go be nice. go just drop hearts emojis or say hi or whatever. They're very cool. Yeah. I like to just kind of lurk and watch them draw and learn from their expertise. But yeah, I will see some of you guys later. Thank you again so much for hanging out, for listening to me ramble, for talking with me about like game design and story design and D&D. I love discussions like that. And yeah. Yeah. So thank you guys for hanging out. And yeah. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, hello, hi Raiders, hi Scrimverse, hi Crayon, hi Nag. Welcome on in. What were you doing? Hi Epic. Hi, welcome in. Hello. It's good to see you all. Thank you all for the follows. It means a lot. I'll admit, wasn't expecting. It's a bit of a lower energy today, so I was trying a D&D riff sheet. Want to stop by before grabbing food? Yo, fucking. Did you? Is there any progress that I can see on it? Smile. Because I would love to see it personally. Thank you for the follow. I am kind of just drawing whatever comes to my mind because I'm battling with art block right now. Where is the hole in it? Where is that? It's right there. I swear my art's usually better than this, but, you know. I wasn't following you? Got the note for your stream? Wait, what? What the fuck? You got it on Twitch or did you get it in Discord? Cause I do post the Girl Lives in Discord. Oh, what the fuck? I haven't had that happen to me yet. Oh, what the fuck? That's so weird.